Hello, everyone, and welcome back into another episode of Conversations with Chris and Cameron. It's episode 24, and tonight we're just going to be focusing on Kentucky basketball. We're going to be recapping the Purdue game, but also previewing the Georgetown game that will be happening later this week, I believe on Thursday. So it's exciting, but Kentucky completely dominated Purdue the other night, and I could not believe it. I was at that game, and basically we led the whole way. It got a little bit close in the second half. I think Purdue got it down to 4 points, but overall, Kentucky just dominated the whole game.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, start to finish, absolute dominance. And yeah, like you said, I could not believe it. I mean, I know when we did our like predictions or whatever, and I said like Cats would win like 79-75. I thought it would just be back and forth the whole game. I didn't
Mhm.
really foresee a world where we just kind of take it to them right off rip. So yeah, it was an unbelievable game. It was, I mean, we'll dive into it more in depth, but like just it was the type of win that really grabs the attention of like all the country, where it was like, dang, like I mean, I heard Rothstein say something about it today, and he's been kind of the guy that kind of holds back on Kentucky. And today he was like, you've got to raise the ceiling if you're Kentucky. So like
Yeah,
that win, even though it's an exhibition and doesn't technically mean anything, that win definitely made some waves around the basketball world.
it definitely did. And of course, if you didn't know the game, didn't watch the game at all, but UK completely dominated. They won 78 to 65 against Purdue. Never really close. And Kentucky led for nearly 38 minutes during the game. Got up to 17 points at the most they were leading during the game, and it was just crazy because like you were expecting maybe like Otagowe or Denzel Aberdeen to be your leading scorer, but no, it was a freshman coming off the bench, Jasper Johnson. Of course, he's from good old Woodford County, Versailles, but for him to come off the bench and being the leading scorer with 15 points is just thoroughly insane.
Yeah, it was wild, and he definitely got the praise. I mean, like most of those guys ended up throwing him on their Instagram story after saying like Jasper Johnson. I mean, he's just that dude, and he balled out. It was
Yeah.
like in every way too. He was in sidestep threes, tough layups. I mean, he got a lot of Rob Dillingham comparisons, and
Yeah.
he might be, but he gives you the vibes of just like a relentless scorer, and he's just going to be able to do that against anybody we play. Just the way that he got his buckets, he can create them by himself. He can do it off of actions and stuff. So it was fun to see Jasper, because I think everybody's got a spot in their heart for him, where it's a kid that like we know his dad, we know his grandpa, we know that family as a state. He
Yeah.
goes away and still ends up returning back home to play college ball. So it was awesome to see. And I know the kids love it. I know the
Yeah.
kids, like that's their guy right there. He'll definitely. I don't know. I remember last year I had like an easy top three guys that I liked. Jasper's probably in that mix, but
Mhm.
it was awesome to see. He was out there balling.
Yeah, and if he continues that throughout, actually during the regular season, and then come the SEC tournament and March Madness, the NCAA tournament, like he could easily be one and done, and could easily be potentially competing for the starting lineup, like replacing, maybe Denzel Aberdeen, have Aberdeen come off the bench. But I don't see him, of course, replacing Jalen Lowe. Of course, he still has to come back from his injury or Otego away, but he could easily be competing for Denzel Aberdeen's spot later on in the year.
Yeah, no doubt. I could see him being a dude that we end up waiting on big time in big time situations too. So I mean, the freshmen, even outside of Kentucky, I mean, the freshmen in the country so far have provided just unbelievable numbers. And then Jasper's in that mix where he's playing on the deepest team in the country and still putting up what he's doing. So
Yeah.
I know it's just one game, but it definitely gives you a glimpse into what he can be going
Yeah.
forward.
And for Johnson's stats, he had 15 points in the game. He also shot 6 for 10 from the field, 3 for 7 from the three-point line, and he was just very efficient, confident, and showed great poise as a freshman. And like I said, whenever he got that open look for the three on like he nailed it instantly from that great ball movement between him, Malachi Moreno. Colin Chandler, and then of course it finally got back to Johnson where he shot that three and made his first bucket at UK Granite Exhibition, so it doesn't really count, but still it was great ball movement there leading to Johnson to having a wide open three.
Yeah, he was hitting the threes when they really mattered too. He hit the one that, I mean, set Rupp on fire. It felt like when we went up 17, and he was just hitting all those shots. But he had the tough finishes. Man, he's just gonna be special, man. He's yeah. I mean, like there was talks about. I had a friend that was talking about the potential of landing Stokes, and he was like, "Man, that Stokes and Johnson duo is gonna be like crazy next year. It's gonna be like the little duo." And I was like, I don't. I mean, even then, I was like, I don't really know if we'll necessarily have Jasper at this point.
Yeah.
If this is even a glimpse into what he's going to be, that's a lottery pick, first round pick,
Mhm.
and he'll be making a lot of money playing at the next level.
Yeah, he definitely will be making a lot of money in the next level if he continues to keep this up. And who knows, maybe he stays another year, get that NIL back. That would be great for him. Of course, like everybody wants to get paid, but if we can, have him around for another year and pay him, let's do it like we did with Otego Wave with him being a senior this year.
Yeah, and with guys like that, like even if they do have like high like draft stock or whatever, like some of those guys, it just means a lot more to wear the Kentucky across our chest. Like when you're from the state and you're like on that level, like maybe coming back winning the national championship is like a top priority for him. So maybe so. I don't really know.
Yeah, could you imagine if we had year two Reed Shepherd under first year head coach Mark Pope? Like it would be insane. But of course, Shepherd made the right move. He was the third overall pick in the NBA draft, so you can't fault him for leaving.
But yeah, definitely can't fault him. And I know it didn't necessarily work out his rookie year, but he's going to be able to play a whole lot more this year. But definitely the right call. Definitely
Yeah,
the right call. If
he
you go
definitely needs to
top five in
improve.
the draft.
He definitely needs to improve on his defense, though. Like that's been the one bad thing about him since, since overall since UK. Well, he was a pretty great off the ball defender, but his first year in the league, of course, wasn't the greatest. And then this year, he's been getting blown by. So hopefully he can improve a little bit with that.
Yeah, his it's weird because like hindsight, people are like, yeah, like Reed was a fine defender, but it was really like you said, it was off ball. He'd like jump steals, jump passing lanes and stuff,
Yeah,
and so that's where he made his money. But
yeah.
yeah, his on ball defense is definitely gonna have to improve if he wants to have a long NBA career.
Yeah, stay in the league for sure. But let's get back to UK and continue to talk about the freshman. Let's talk about Malachi Moreno. He definitely showed out. It was his birthday against the Purdue game, and he had 8 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 blocks. And he was a solid contributor off the bench, and that's what we need. Like we need both Garrison and Moreno to step up while Jaden Acquaintance is out with this ACL injury.
Yeah, no doubt. No, like the biggest thing with him is that like while he was in high school, it looked like he was just a toothpick. Like he was just
Yeah.
like so skinny. There was no way he could play SEC basketball right now. But
Mhm.
he's filled out, man. And I don't know if it's like from media day. I don't know if it's just eating 40 nuggets and Sprite from McDonald's every day. But like he's definitely filled out a little bit, and it's showing. I mean, if the physicality was no problem, we'll get to play a physical team in Georgetown. But the physicality that they offered. I mean, Oscar Clough, we talked about him,
Yeah.
massive human. Trey Coffin, like he was still out there getting boards, running the
Mhm.
lanes, and I mean, he had a couple great dunks off of
Yeah.
slipping a pick and roll, and
Mhm.
he was just awesome. I loved seeing Malachi, and like you said, it was his birthday, so I
Yeah.
liked what Kentucky did with the video of him like following him for the whole game day. Like I thought that was pretty
That
cool
that
that
was
they did.
cool. Yeah. I also like the music that they had in the background too. Like that was catchy, whatever song they were playing for the beat.
I don't think I paid too much attention to it. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, it was a cool idea though. I mean, it's birthday game day, like
Yeah.
yeah, that was pretty sweet to see.
Yeah. I was grooving out to that beat though. I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I don't remember what it was. Honestly, I'll have to go back
Yeah.
and look.
Yeah, you'll have to go back and look for sure. But I love the beat, love the video that they did of him. And Marino also credits why he had such a great game was because he went back home the night before and his mother made him a birthday dinner. I think his mother made him lasagna. So like that's his favorite meal and everything. So he credits the game due to his mom making him that meal the night before.
Well, we now have a ritual because he's gonna have to do that every home game. She's gonna have to travel, make some stuff for him on the road too. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that is cool though that he credits it back to that, and not a super far drive for him to go back home. So
Yeah.
that's cool that he was able to do that.
Yeah, only like 30 minutes, so not bad.
Yeah, not too bad. Old Georgetown.
Yeah. Yeah, well, let's continue to talk about the Kentucky boys, of course. Malachi Moreno, he's from Georgetown, and then Jasper Johnson from Woodford County, Versailles. But let's talk about Trent Noah as well from Harlan County. And he was also another great player for UK, and nobody expect him to start. Of course, if you listen to Jack Pilgrim and Zach Gagan with their podcast before, the game started, Pilgrim said if you were listening before the game that Trent Noah would start, and everybody was so surprised and shocked from that. And I'm like, huh? Why is he starting? But he literally proved why he should be a starter. He had 10 points, 2 for 4 from the 3-point line, and I'm just glad Trent Noah is making like a name for himself here in Kentucky, and he's going to continue to compete for minutes and potentially maybe be even a starter.
Yeah, Trent Noah played really well, and he didn't miss a beat with the thing that I said where I feel like every single long rebound is just Trent Noah's to get, and he did that. He only ended up with 2 rebounds, but I think both of them were what I
Mhm.
was referring to in like those long boards. But yeah, 10 points, and he hits 2 threes, so like he
Yeah.
kind of fits what we thought. But I was kind of shocked by. I was just curious. I was at the practice that I helped coach for, and I was just sitting there. And like honestly, I'll be honest. Like during the practice, all I was thinking about was Kentucky Purdue. I was like, dude, I can't wait for this game. But I was like, man, who's gonna start? Because I knew Jalen was out. Obviously, Acquaintance is out, and so I was like, all right, who are we gonna go with? I was like, just naming all these names, and I did not think Trent Noah was gonna be the one. And I
Yeah.
got the notification during that practice. I was like, it's gonna be Trent Noah. This is crazy.
Yeah.
But he performed well. He played, just shy of 24 minutes and provided well. I got a +5 box score plus minus. So he played really really well in this game in his first start. So obviously when Jalen Lowe gets back, things probably shift around and he'll probably start to come off the bench. But
Mhm.
he provided pretty well.
Yes, he did for sure. And like I said, it'll be interesting to see what Noah can continue to do. But yeah, whenever Lowe was injured, I thought the starting lineup was going to be Aberdeen, Owe, Williams, Diabate, and then of course Garrison. But I did not expect Noah to be the starting small forward before the game.
Yeah, it felt pretty like shoe in that it was going to be like Zell, Owe, BG, and then Mo. But then like, yeah, I was with you. I didn't know if it was going to be Cam. I thought maybe Jasper just goes in there just to give us another guard look. And I was like, I think I landed on being like, all right, I think it's going to be Colin Chandler. Like it's a returning guy. Maybe it's just a
Yeah.
familiarity thing. Like just goes right in. Everybody already knows this guy anyways. And like, no, they go out, throw Trent Noah out there. And I was not expecting it, but very pleased with it.
Yeah, and with the big loud crowd pop, of course, the two biggest loud crowd pops for the introductions were Trent Noah and then of course Otega Owe. Like you can never go wrong with Owe. It's insane how loud the crowd got for him.
Yeah, and I mean, they saved him last for Big Blue Madness for that same reason. Like
Yeah.
that crowd pop at Big Blue Madness is crazy, and so yeah, I expect that to happen probably all the games this year where he'll be the loudest, and then if the lineups end up changing a little bit and we get some of these Kentucky boys in there, I think that Jasper Johnson pop would be something too.
Yeah, and I think the three loudest players from Big Blue Madness was, of course, Trent Noah. I felt like I felt like it was Trent Noah, Otegowe, and Jaden Quaintance. Like I felt like Quaintance had the best walkout other than Trent Noah, of course. So like going back to Big Blue Madness a little bit.
Yeah, I thought Acquaintances was amazing. Like I was. Now, I don't listen to like rap at all, but I
Mhm.
will say whenever I did, J. Cole was my favorite artist.
Yeah,
And Jaden Quaintance, the slow rise to I can't remember the J. Cole song, but it was like perfect. I
Rise
tweeted
and
it out and
Fall.
I was like, Aura, this is like crazy. It
Aura.
was so sick.
Yeah.
So I would definitely agree. JQ definitely had one of the best walkouts.
Yeah, definitely top three. But to get back to this Kentucky Purdue matchup, recapping it, let's talk about Mo Diabate. Like everybody knew what we were expecting. You were expecting maybe 6 to 8 points from him. Not scoring a lot, but rebounding and defending like his keys. And of course, that's what he did. He had 9 rebounds and 2 blocks, and he added 8 points. And that is what UK will need from him. Like if he can continue to be 6 to 8 points, if he can score more, so be it. But just get rebounds, blocks, and steals, and be the key contributor on why Kentucky could win a national championship this year because of how great his defense and how potentially great this year's UK's team could also have a great defense too.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, speaking on like Mo is like the the play that like went viral with even outside of Kentucky fans was like the play where I think it ended up being a dump off. I think somebody ripped baseline and gave it to him, but then he finished on like 3 or 4 people. It was like crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, the physicality, the rebounding, like you mentioned, the steals, blocks, like he just does it all. Like he's just an amazing like puzzle piece. That's a great fit where he's not gonna go out and light up the scoreboard any game, but he's going to do exactly what you said, or it's going to be, you know, maybe 5 to 8 points or something, and he'll end up just getting a great number of rebounds. So he's definitely one that I think will be a fan favorite when it's all said and done. I mean, he
Yeah,
even from the scrimmage, I remember like my dad fell in love with him. He was like, Mo's just going off, like he's just a beast. So
yeah.
yeah, I think he'll definitely be a guy that we'll be seeing a lot of this of all year.
Yeah, and I asked Mark Pope after the game, like what he thought about Mo Diabate, and basically Pope said after the game that everybody's going to become a fan favorite of him. Like potentially he could be your favorite player on this year's team because of what all he does for the team, whether it be on the offensive side or defensive side.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I could definitely see him being a fan favorite, and I think he's like it's just because he's so much different from like what we've usually had. Like we don't have really just defensive oriented guys, especially like off of last year. Like
Hmm.
we could put up 110, but we were just going to give up a million.
Hmm.
Mo's going to shut some guys down all year, so I could definitely see a world where he ends up being a fan favorite.
Same with Jaden Quaintance once he comes back, he'll be shutting down everybody too. Like, how will you be able to like go in on Quaintance or Diabate if they're both playing at the same time?
Oh
Right.
yeah, I mean, that's a front court's like death wish. Like that's going to be
Yeah.
insane. I mean, like that you're really going to have to rely on like three guys to score. Like there's this that's going to be wild once they're both back. It's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, it'll be crazy for sure. And I forgot to mention about Moreno, but for him, real quick, I wanted to go back to the end of the first half. He had that steal and he almost had that dunk at the end. And I was so nervous, like he injured himself, like he tore his ACL or something at the end of the first half. I'm like, oh, you should have just like dunked it, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I was definitely a little bit worried about that, but yeah, it was. I mean, the end of the first half, like if we would have had some big time exclamation point there, that place would have not lasted.
Yeah, it definitely would not have lasted. And talking about going back to Noah too, he also hit that three that was a bank shot, and I'm like, how does that even happen? Like a bank shot three, and the crowd is going crazy off of that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was wild. It's like from the top of the key too. Like I remember when he shot that, I was like, go in, and then you could just tell it was long. I was like, dang man, like, and then immediately as soon as that like it banks in, I was like, oh my gosh, like we just can't
Yeah,
even, we couldn't miss a thing right now. Like, I was like, this is unbelievable.
yeah. I would have done the MJ shrug like
Yeah, yeah. Trent should have honestly.
yeah, he should have. But let's talk about another guard. This time with Denzel Aberdeen. He was, of course, the starting point guard for Kentucky because, of course, Jalen Lowe is still coming back from his shoulder injury. We'll see if he plays against Georgetown. I don't think he will. I think he'll come back probably for the first game of the year against Nichols, but we'll see about that. But let's talk about Aberdeen. He had 9 points and 3 assists, and he was basically steadying the backcourt attacking the rim with confidence, and of course shooting the ball. He had one three I know that went in and out from the corner, and I'm like, he could have easily had 12 points then.
Yeah, yeah. Denzel was amazing. I mean, he had plays where like I mean, I watched him a good amount at Florida, and I mean, we've seen him at Kentucky, but he had plays that like you can't teach. Like it was just like there was a lot of his like points that came from like freestyle. Like you said, I mean, he had the one that rimmed in and out, but he played the most minutes, and like you said, he was able to steady the backcourt, and he was kind of a consistent piece that we could go in and rely on. But yeah, I mean, he had the tough mid range late in the game that I remember I mean, he played unbelievable. I loved everything I saw out of Zell, and he had me just. He's already becoming like a big time favorite of mine because of just what we've seen already in one exhibition.
Yeah, and like you were saying, he led the cast with the most amount of minutes. He had 29 minutes. And honestly, for him, though, once Jalen Lowe gets back, I want him to be more aggressive trying to attack the rim off the ball because I felt like he was a little complacent against Purdue because Aberdeen, he shot 1 for 5 from the 3-point line and then 3 for 9 overall. Like, of course. He shot probably five threes because he was getting open looks, but start attacking the rim if your shot isn't falling from the deep.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It will be interesting just to see like that. I mean, that was in my head the whole like second half of where we were like starting to pull away and stuff, and I was like, man, what's this going to look like when we do get to add I mean, we'll be adding a top five pick and one of the best point guards in the country. So it's kind of a embarrassment of riches. But like I was kind of just thinking, like, what's this really going to look like when we have to slide these guys over? And like Denzel, which you could tell Denzel wasn't necessarily comfortable. I think you could just kind of see that like this isn't a role that he's just completely used to. Where like
Yeah.
last year he had some of the best guards around him in the country, and then this year he's supposed to kind of be playing more of an off-ball combo guard type of thing. But like now he's out there playing true point. So
Yeah.
I think it was definitely uncomfortable a little bit, but I mean he killed it. He was able to control the game and control the pace of everything. So yeah, he did amazing. But I will be interested to see like what it looks like when he has to slide back over and play more of a two.
He did pretty well though for taking over for Walter Clayton last year whenever he got injured. So, like I said, it just takes some time. It will take some consistency, but I don't expect Lowe to be out for long. I expect him probably to be back for the game for the first regular season game on November 4th against Nichols.
Yeah, yeah, he did do good against whenever Walter Clayton was out because that was the big thing that a lot of fans like whenever he transferred over. Um, that was the big like takeaway was like when he did play more important minutes, this is what he did. Like when he played more in those games, so that was fun. I was actually with a couple Florida fans on Saturday, and it was just I kept my mouth shut because they were like they didn't watch the exhibition and they were like, how did he look? And I was like, oh, he looked really, really good. And they were like, how many times did he lose the ball? And I was like, I mean, not really. What did he end up with? He
Uh,
had
he had
one turnover.
one
So
turnover. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't remember. I was like, I don't remember him even like losing the ball once. And they were like, oh,
Mhm.
really? And I was like, and they sat there and started getting mad about just like him leaving, siding with Todd Golden and all this. And I was like, bro,
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna stay right here. But I'm glad he's on our side now.
Yeah. Hey, he left Florida because of that good old money.
Yeah,
You
and he's
know?
trying to win a championship. He knows Florida. They fluked their way to one. He's going to the big dog now.
Oh yeah, the big dog for sure. But let's talk about Otego Away because of course he's expected to be up for so many awards this year, but of course probably this year he doesn't have to be the main focal point on the offense. Like last year it felt like it was mainly him and Butler. Of course Williams would initiate the offenses sometimes, but the main two players that would be, dribbling the ball or getting to the rim, whatever it might be, was Butler and Away. But away, he had 10 points against Purdue, shot 4 for 9, 1 for 2 from the 3-point line. And I'm happy he shot 50% from the 3-point line, even though it was only two attempts. Like, I'll take it. He also had one assist and one steal. I'm looking at the stats and one block. So he did a little bit of everything for UK. And like I said, he doesn't even have to be the main scorer this year. And of course, he's going to take over games like he did last year against Oklahoma, where he had those two game winners against them. But he'll definitely continue to take over games whenever he has to, along with other players, because it's just going to be a lot of balanced scoring like it was last year for UK.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'd say Oklahoma fans still lose sleep over Ortega, but you said it in the preview. If there was a betting line for an exhibition or anything, just bet Ortega 10 plus. Like it was just like he's
Yeah.
gonna get double digits. And it's rinse and repeat. It's just he does double digits every single time he goes out, and he gets 10, even with an incredibly deep roster. He goes out, gets his 10. It's like it's a requirement for him. He just has to do it. But he did play pretty well. It's obviously a much different role where like last year it was like, all right, feed it to him on the wing, rip through, go in, get an N one or something. But now it's like he's actually gonna have open looks because there's so much talent all around him. And like you said, it was 1 for 2, but seeing the one go in is a great start. Like just being able to see that fall, it improves the draft stock. It improves Kentucky's offense because
Yeah.
of there's more respect for him outside, so it opens up the lanes and everything. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it was fun to see Ortega back. Like obviously he had the turf toe, so it was a little hesitant, but I was glad he was able to play and he was playing, in full effect. Played 16 minutes, so
Yeah.
it was fun to see.
Yeah, and it looked like he did not miss a step after being out for 10 weeks with that turf toe injury. So I'm excited to see what Owe can do along with the rest of the team. Let's talk a little bit about Brendan Garrison and then let's talk about some of the bench players. So Brendan Garrison, of course, he was a starter for UK because Quayton isn't back yet, but he almost had 18 minutes. He also had 7 points, 4 rebounds, and then along with that, he had one assist. So he did pretty well for what he had to do. He shot 3 for 4 as well, so 75%. He did the little things right, but he still doesn't look as natural as Williams was last year whenever he had to like pass the ball and make plays. But hopefully Garrison can work on that and continue to get better with passing. But I mean, he did look a lot better compared to last year because it looked like he lost some weight and added some muscle and looked a lot faster as well.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. He's definitely not as, like you said, he's not as familiar and everything with the like Williams role of last year, but him and Malachi, the one thing I noticed like in this game that they do like incredibly well is just finding a spot. Like in
Mhm.
football, there's like what's called a spacing route. You basically just find the empty ground and sit down there. They were able to do that, and it'd be like in all the chaos and everything that like these guards are going, and maybe it'd be going below the basket or going to the baseline. They would just always be in the perfect spot to catch it, turn, and dunk immediately. Like it was just perfect. So I'm excited to see that where he's not going to have to do a whole lot, but if he's able to do that, and he hit a free throw on
Yeah.
one of those two, so like if he's able to just do that and play that role instead of just trying to like do too much, I think it's gonna be perfect because him and Malachi both did that really well, where they were just able to find some open land and sit down there for a second, let the guard find them, and punch one in.
Yeah, and now let's get to the bench players. Of course, these players didn't really have too much of an impact, but Mark Pope really did rave about Colin Chandler. Even though Colin Chandler only scored 2 points, he had that big dunk. He had the best plus minus on the team at the time, or against Purdue with 15. So that's insane to think about. And then, of course, you've got to think about Cam Williams. He shot 2 for 6. All of his shots were from the 3-point line, so he scored 6 points. And then Andrea Jelovic, he almost had 20 minutes. He didn't make any field goals, but 3 for 4 from the free throw line. He also had 5 rebounds. Let's see, two assists as well. And then finally, Braden Hawthorne. I was surprised that he really didn't get any playing time. He got 4 seconds.
Yeah, yeah. I wish we could have got Braden in there a little bit more. But yeah, you mentioned the entire bench. They did their role. They did what they were supposed to. And Colin, yeah, Pope named him the MVP. He led the team in box score plus minus. He just did what we needed. Like he wasn't trying to do too much.
Mhm.
You mentioned the dunk. That dunk was impressive. That
Yeah.
was amazing. But I'm excited to see this version of Colin. Just like go out there and just do your thing. Like you're not gonna have to like fill up the stat sheets in one certain category. Just go out there and just play ball and
Mhm.
do you. And uh I wasn't like disappointed in Cam, but it felt like Cam, when he was shooting, he has like that vibe of like every one of these is just going in, and he missed four of them. So it was a little disappointing on that end where I was like, oh, well, dang it. I mean, we would have won by 40.
Yeah.
But yeah, he'll be able to shoot, and kill it. But I was very impressed with Yelovich on defense.
Hmm.
You mentioned that he had what do you have, 5 boards or something? Yeah, 5 total
But
rebounds. But his defense was impressive. He was physical. It feels like he didn't miss a beat where, Big Z, his defense, it was the other way. But now, seeing Yelovich going out there and being able to provide defensively as well as I think he'll be able to come along offensively as the season goes on. But I was impressed with the defense. And like I said, Braden Hawthorne, I wish he could have played a little bit more, but
Yeah, me too. I was really impressed with the defense, but like I said, I have really high confidence in the whole team, the whole roster. Like any player can go off any given night, and I'm just interested to see what can actually happen, come 1 week away from basically the season starting. We're recording on a Monday night, but tomorrow will be officially a week until the season starts, Tuesday, November 4th against Nichols. Like it's exciting times, but of course we've got an exhibition game. I want to talk a little bit more about the Purdue game though before we get into that. Just to get into a little bit more notes, Kentucky dominated the paint. They had the advantage of 36 to 26. Also won the rebounding battle 42 to 30, and that's the one thing UK I felt like struggled with last year in the rebounding battle. It just felt like they kept giving up offensive rebounds and could never get that defensive rebound last year.
yeah, no doubt. It was definitely a great performance on the boards, but and that was definitely, a worry of last year at times where it was, we'd get dominated by teams that we probably shouldn't get dominated by. But yeah, this one it was very impressive because of who we're going against. Like the front court is like, one of the best in the country. Like, we were not going against some bad
Mhm.
front court by any means. So yeah, the boards battle, being able to win that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and then Kentucky, they shot nearly 50% from the field, 49.2%, which is just insane to think about. And then Purdue struggled from the three-point line. They shot 17.6 from there. And, it was just a great effort throughout the whole game for Kentucky with the offense and the defense as well.
Yeah, for sure. That was I think, I mean, both teams, I think, as the season goes on, will both hit a lot more. But that was kind of the big takeaway of like the pessimistic fans was like, all right, Purdue just missed a lot of shots. But I think a lot of that is a testament to our defense. Like our defense is able to disrupt a lot of theirs. And like you said, 17.6% from three is incredible. Like they had a few open ones that they missed, but a lot of that was us, great closeouts and
Mhm.
forcing tough shots for them. So,
And talking,
um,
can't forget about that.
and what?
Talking, like players talking on
Oh,
defense. It just felt
yeah.
like last year, like the players weren't talking on defense at least.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, talking and communicating through different lineups too was impressive. So uh, that was definitely a big time takeaway, I think, for both teams. Is like there's not really going to be many games where they'll struggle to shoot like this, and it is not
Yeah,
even game one yet. So we
yeah.
can't put too much stock into that. But that was definitely a big takeaway. It was the percentage of shots falling.
Yeah, and then of course the Kentucky's bench, they scored 34 of UK's 78 points and showing that they have a strong depth. Granted, 15 of those 34 points came from Jasper Johnson. You can't forget about that. But also at the same time, UK had a lot of balanced scoring. They had nine players scored at least 6 points during the game, and they also had great ball movement with 17 assists on 30 made shots, and that's great to think about as well.
Yeah, 100%. The depth, it showed right away. Like this game, able to run them down, go on big runs, and you mentioned the number of guys scoring, and it's just it's incredible. This team is going to be able to just wear teams down,
Mhm.
and it's crazy because Purdue is also one of the teams with the biggest like depth advantage in all of basketball,
Mhm.
and that team got
Yeah.
worn down. So like. I don't know what we're going to do to teams that have just like a good starting five, bad bench, because like we're going to absolutely run teams out of the gym sometimes. Like it's going to be awesome. So yeah, that was cool to see. Kind of the whole team filled up.
Yeah, for sure. And what I found so interesting though, was UK was basically able to stop Braden Smith as well. Like they were able to hold Braden Smith. He only had, let's see, I'm trying to find the total points. He
Hit
had,
11.
yeah, he had 11 points, but it was on 3 of 9 shooting, over 3 from the 3-point line. Like not great at all. And UK was able to stop him as well. And I was happy about that.
Yeah, the I feel like the only time that Braden Smith had a smile on his face the entire game was that time that Jasper got like was on the ground and Malachi came over and smacked Braden Smith's hand and he was like, "Get out of here." But I mean, obviously, we were putting him through the ringer and he was having a tough night.
Yeah.
He played the most for them, and
Mhm.
yeah, he just did not have a great game. And so if
Yeah.
that's the National Player of the Year and you're able to do that to him, even in a game where they claim that they didn't like scout it and claim that it doesn't matter a whole lot. Even if you can do that in a game like that, it was very impressive. He did not have a good game.
Yeah, of course. The four main key players for Purdue against UK was Trey Kaufman Rain. He was the leading scorer. He had 19 points. Fletcher Loyer had 14. Smith had 9, and then Daniel Jacobson had 11. Or did I say Smith had 11 and Jacobson had 9? So those were the four key players that we were talking about during our preview and how UK needed to lock them up if UK wanted a chance, and that's what they did.
Yeah, 100%. No, yeah, Trey Ruin's really the only guy that I feel like could probably come from this game and feel good about it. Maybe Fletcher Warrior, he played all right, but
Yeah.
Oscar Clough and Braden Smith were not very good. Jacobson not great. CJ Cox not great. Like we really
Mhm.
stopped a ton of them, and that's their core right there. That's the guys that they'll be leaning on all year. And then Obermeyer, I thought he was going to play a lot more than he did. He only ended up playing 13 minutes, but
Mhm.
I thought he'd be more of a like, he is Braden Smith's backup, but I thought from what I had heard, he's so good that he's going to end
Yeah.
up playing beside him at times. So, yeah, there was really nobody that like stood out. Like there was nobody that can really go from this game and be like, yep, that was perfectly fine. Because like even Kaufman Marine had a minus 17. I think it's because he played so much, but like
Uh-huh.
he lives with 19 points, but not he only had 5 boards, and that's a guy that gets a lot of boards. So you definitely go and you leave a sour taste in their mouth with this
Mhm.
exhibition. But like I said, it'll probably change and they'll end up being fine in the long run. But
Yes.
early on, definitely worrisome.
Yes, for sure. Like you were saying, Purdue's going to be fine if they don't make it to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament like they do every year. Like I said, I feel like for Purdue, like if you get to at least the Elite Eight under Matt Painter, I feel like that's a success. Like it feels like they at least get to the Sweet 16 though every year. It feels like Tennessee and Purdue are basically like the same teams. They can only get so far. Granted, Purdue did get to the championship game a couple years ago though, but they had Zach Edey.
Yeah, yeah. Tennessee's definitely the one that has the cap on them. They just
Yeah.
can't go any farther. But Purdue, yeah, they kind of have that too, where it's like, well, they'll probably disappoint and don't ever put them winning like a championship in your bracket. But yeah, I think they'll be fine. They're definitely still. I mean, there was a lot of people in the college basketball media, landscape that kind of were just like, these are Final Four teams. Like, there's a chance that these guys, match up again later on in the year. And so, yeah, I think, like you said, they'll be fine. They'll be probably second weekend, and then they'll have to start playing real teams. So,
Mhm.
they'll probably win the Big Ten. They'll probably just kind of stay top 10 all year, and they'll still be a really, really good team when
Mhm.
it's all said and done.
Yeah, you're right about that. I think the one last thing I want to talk about with this Purdue game before we start to talk about Georgetown and everything was I really thought UK was finally going to get to the 3-point record where Mark Pope wants UK to shoot 35 3-point attempts per game and they got to 29, but like through the first I would say 12 minutes of the first half they averaged one 3-point attempt per minute felt like I remember tweeting it out saying like they've already shot 12 3-point attempts and we're already, 12 minutes into the first half.
Yeah, they were definitely shooting them early, but I think we just kind of shifted into more like we were getting all our buckets in transition and everything late, so it was just kind of they weren't necessary, and we were able to get so many good looks off of different actions and stuff. So, yeah, 29 threes. It's not where Pope wants, but we'll get there. And in games that are much closer than this one, we'll probably be chucking up some more, and there'll definitely be more falling as we go on.
Yeah, hopefully they fall. Of course, UK shot 9 for 29 from the 3-point line. You hope to at least make, 12 or 13 threes from the 30 that you nearly attempted. So hopefully they can, at least if they shoot 29, they can make 12 of them going forward
Yeah,
or something like that.
yeah, I would definitely agree with that. That'd
But
be a good little target.
But granted, UK didn't really need that. But do you have anything else you want to talk about this Purdue game before we transition to Georgetown?
I don't think so. I mean, I would say just like fans need to definitely try to find the middle ground because I feel like there's fans that are on two extremes where they're like, Purdue just sucks. They're not very good. This isn't that great of a win, anyways. They didn't watch film or whatever. And then there's some fans that are like, all right, 40-0, I already bet us to win the national championship. Like, there's got to be some middle ground where it is a very impressive win. It's a great win. Be happy from it. But let's move on, moving forward to where like the actual season is coming up. So that would kind of be my like piece of advice to try to find that middle ground.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And honestly, though, we're going into this Georgetown matchup, and if we don't win this game by, I don't know, 15, 20 points, like I would be surprised because Georgetown, they struggled against George Washington. And I couldn't believe that whenever I saw that they were struggling against them. Georgetown only won by 9 points against George Washington, 73 to 64. And, George Washington kept it close during the exhibition game.
Yeah, this Georgetown's interesting because like we've played we played Ed Cooley in
Providence back in
Providence
23,
20
I
2023.
think.
Okay, yeah, his last year there. We played as teams they just love physicality. They love slowing games down. Like I know their fan base is like worried about the scoring. Like they've just got to get to a certain number scoring wise, and they'll be feeling good about games. So, yeah, I didn't even realize that was the exact score. I heard somebody kind of talk about that game and say that they were in a close one and all that. But yeah, that's crazy. But I know they feel good personally about like their depth, which is interesting because that's how we've talked about Kentucky. So it's going to be fun to see just kind of what we'll be able to do against this team. Hopefully, there's a game where we can just kind of run them out the gym, and then Braden Hawthorne gets more than 4 seconds or whatever. Hopefully, he ends up getting to play 5-10 minutes in this one.
Yeah, for Georgetown, they had 10 players to have 10 or more minutes during this past game. So they do like to use their bench and everything. So it's crazy. Of course, there was one other player that played, but he only played 5 minutes. So it'll be interesting to see how far they go down the bench chart for Georgetown against Kentucky.
Yeah, that'll be definitely a key part to kind of see. But I'm glad we're going against these teams early though, because like
Yeah.
playing these depth teams, like if you play teams with like really like even solid depth late in the year where you're all worn down, your legs are tired, like it gets risky. So I'm glad we're playing them now, getting a feel for it now. But it'll be a fun one though. I'm excited for it. And honestly, it's just like an itch where it's just like Kentucky basketball. I just can't wait for it to get back. I'm excited for it. Can't come soon enough.
Yeah, I'm excited about that too. Currently, though, Ed Cooley, of course, he's the head coach for Georgetown. He was previously at Providence, UK, like you were mentioning earlier. We were able to defeat them in the NCAA tournament, went to the round of 32. Also, we were able to defeat former Kentucky Wildcat Bryce Hopkins that game too.
Yep, yep, and we'll get to play him this year in Atlanta with St. John's. So,
St. John's, yeah.
uh, yeah, we'll get to play. That'll be. I don't know if that's ever happened where we've played like a former cat at two different schools. Like that's kind of a weird specific thing, but yeah, we've got our our history, and there's been like Jordan Burks played for them last year. We didn't end up playing them, obviously. Now he's at USF or UCF, but
Yeah.
uh, yeah, it'll be fun to go up against Ed Cooley. I mean, he's like a I wouldn't say legend of the game, but if you're a college basketball sicko, you definitely know the man. And he's in, he left his alma mater to go to another school in the same conference. This man is, a fiery individual and can coach some defense. That's for sure.
He can definitely coach some defense. And I also want to look at the stat for Ed Cooley and everything. Their record dramatically changed from year one to year two. Year one under him, they went 2-18, 9-23 overall, which is insane to think about. But then in his second year there, they changed dramatically. 8-12, 18-16. Like that's insane to go from that.
Yeah, big time jump for sure. He's definitely a program builder, culture builder, and all that. So, I mean, even before he got there, Georgetown was at the lowest of the lows. So
Mhm.
it is cool just to see them kind of back because it is like a historic school. But yeah, let's definitely start off there. The year three, let's start it off with another exhibition loss, and then they can go on and win some games after we play them.
Yes, for sure. And like I said, this is the last tune-up for UK before they start the regular season. And I'm just interested to see how UK will play against them and everything because they're going to look great. For their starting five, Caleb Williams was the leading scorer. He played 29 minutes. He shot 8 for 11 from the field, 4 for 7, and he had 20 points and 6 rebounds along with 1 assist. And it's just insane to think about. If you don't know who Caleb Williams is, he's a 6'7" forward and is only a sophomore. So, like, it'll be interesting to see the matchup. Like, Mo Diabate will probably be guarding Williams, but it will be interesting to see how Williams and Diabate will go at each other.
Yeah, that'll be a fun little matchup. But yeah, their roster is interesting because it's not like a ton of names that people would know. But yeah, like you said, they play just a lot of guys, so it's gonna be fun just to see like what we do against all types of matchups. Like you said, Mo will probably be on him, but I'm just excited to kind of see the what we send out there, and probably not have Jalen. Like you said, he'll probably just wait and
Mhm.
be back for Nichols. But the yeah, this game can be very very important. Just kind of be a measuring stick, and it'll be something good to see. Like if we end up, playing this team close, there's going to be those pessimistic fans that are like, "I told you Purdue was just bad, and it's not even that great of a win." But I feel good about this one. I hope we can, kind of
Yeah,
dominate these guys.
I feel good about it too. And I was looking, I didn't see Langston Love getting any minutes during the last game. Like, is he injured or do you know?
I honestly do not know. I
Yeah.
haven't heard anything
Yeah.
about that, but
But yeah, Langston Love, I've always watched his game and everything. He played at Baylor for most of his collegiate career and everything, and he was pretty great at Baylor. And of course, he transferred to Georgetown for his last year, and I didn't even see him get any playing time, so that's a little confusing.
yeah, I don't really know. But yeah, he's a good player at Baylor. So yeah, I'm not completely sure if we'll be seeing him in this one, but I can't
Yeah.
find anything on it.
You can't. Yeah, I looked it up on Twitter just now. I couldn't find anything interesting. So we'll see if he gets any playing time or not against UK because, like I said, Langston Love is a beast, and if he is, injured, then that's terrible. But if he's healthy and he can play, like it's going to be an insane matchup for sure. Well, we are back with the podcast. We had, again, Wi-Fi issues more on my end than Cameron's ends. I don't know what I can do to get better Wi-Fi. I'm right next to the router, so it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I don't really know, but we're back, and yeah, it's a tradition to have some technical difficulties on this podcast.
Yes, you're right about that. But we were talking about Langston Love, and I was trying to Google, but I didn't find anything online. But it says he's on the roster, so more than likely he's probably just battling through some injuries. But it'll be great to see Love, back with Georgetown whenever he actually gets some playing time.
Yeah, no doubt. It'll be fun to see him back, but yeah, I'm not completely sure what's going on with that man, but
Yeah,
won't see him probably.
yeah, but just talking a little bit more about Georgetown, they run a three-guard lineup. They've got Malik Mack, KJ Lewis, and then Deshaun Harris Smith as the three guards. So if I had to guess, Malik Mack, he is 6'2", so I would assume that they'll put Aberdeen on Mack. Malik Mack, he just had 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists for Georgetown against George Washington. So if I had to guess, probably put Aberdeen on Mac.
Yeah, I would say so, and it's funny because like I had completely forgot that Malik Mack was there until I was like doing some research on the game. I loved Malik Mack when he was at Harvard. That
Yeah.
man was an absolute hooper. So, really good player. But yeah, I think that'll definitely be the matchup. But yeah, the three guard lineup will make things interesting.
Yeah, his freshman year at Harvard, he averaged 33 minutes per game, 17 points per game, 4.8 assists, and 4 rebounds. And this past year for Georgetown, he averaged 35 points, 35 minutes, not points, 35 minutes per game, which is insane. Only not playing 5 minutes. 13 points, 4 assists, and 3.5 rebounds per game while shooting 35.5% from behind the arc. So he's going to be a sharpshooter. UK will have to guard him, and I believe Aberdeen will be probably the best player to guard him if I had to guess.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with Aberdeen being the one for Mac.
Yeah, and then of course we've got to talk about KJ Lewis. He's an Arizona transfer. He appeared in all 37 games last year for them, making 6 stars, averaged 10.8 points per game and 4.6 rebounds per game. Registered career highs with 106 assists and 31 blocks, along with 49 steals. So he's definitely going to be a player that will be 3 and D, and you'll hopefully have to contain him. And I believe Otegoe can seal the deal with that.
Yeah, KJ is definitely the dude that this offseason for them has like made the most noise because I think like everybody that's kind of talked about them and I read some Georgetown different like pages and different stuff and KJ is definitely the big takeaway where they're like he is the offensive guy that could get this team over like a certain scoring limit to be able to like hold teams under a certain amount of points to be able to score enough. And KJ has been like the guy where they're like he's going to provide a lot more offense than what he did at Arizona. And like he didn't average a ton there, but he was always a really solid player out there. So I do expect him to be probably their best player when it's all said and done.
Yeah, and then if Trent Noah does get the start again as a small forward position, I guess you would have to put him against Deshaun Harris Smith. He's a 6'5" junior guard, and he played in all 36 games last year at Maryland, averaging 15.4 minutes per game, along with 2.5 points, 2.5 rebounds, and shot 40% from the field. So I guess you would probably have to put Noah on him if you have Noah as your starting small forward again.
Yeah, I would say so. And yeah, the Maryland transfer is definitely good. And he's definitely Ed Cooley's guy. Ed Cooley said he is a potential glue guy to monitor in the Big East and beyond, and that he absolutely loves this guy. So he's definitely going to be not in the same exact playing style, but he's going to be like their Mo Diabate, where he's like the fan favorite. He's going to do all the little things. So, yeah, I think that'll be definitely a good matchup for Trent Noah. If, like you said, if he does get the nod to start in this one.
Yeah, if not, probably put Cam Williams in as your three.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, and then of course we already talked about Caleb Williams to begin the Georgetown matchup. You'll probably put Mo Diabate on him if I had to guess, and just 6'7", 227 uh he weighs. So I would say that's probably the best matchup for Diabate. And then of course you cannot forget about their big man though. 7 foot sophomore. He's the center, Julius Halafonia. I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Yeah, I don't know his full pronunciation, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's my best guess.
But he only played in 6 games last year. He suffered a season-ending injury, averaged 13.2 minutes per game during that. But against George Washington, he played 21 minutes, 3 for 5 from the field. He attempted a three-point shot, missed it. He also had 2 rebounds and 1 assist and 1 block and 6 points. So I would say put Garrison on him and see what happens. And if you have to switch the two with Diabate, because of course Diabate is more physical than Garrison, but that's how I would play the starting five if I had to guess.
Yeah, I would say so. And I mean, their team. You mentioned Julius, but their team overall, if you're not really familiar, their team overall is a lot of hard names to pronounce. So,
Yeah,
uh, but yeah, I would say that's definitely how I would go with the starting five on who I'd match up. But like I said, they have like crazy depth, so
yeah.
we'll end up seeing a lot of different matchups throughout the game for sure.
Yeah, and then they also have another backup big man who is 7'1". He's coming from USC. It's Vince Iwuchukwu. Wuku? I don't know. It's crazy pronouncing these names, but he's a shot blocker, has high level athleticism, and he'll be definitely a big test for, of course, Garrison and Malachi Moreno. So it'll be interesting to see how UK handles the big men.
Yeah, they'll definitely be a good matchup for us because I mean we handled Purdue's, but this is kind of a different style of big men that we'll have to go against. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and then for Georgetown, they shot 27 for 61, 44% from the field against George Washington, and then shot 9 for 25 from the three-point line. So both teams, they like to shoot threes, and UK will have to continue to guard the three-point line along with being able to guard the interior and not allow points in the paint.
Yeah, definitely. This is a team that defensively they're there, but the offense is what's been lacking, and that's kind of been the thing with Ed Cooley. So we need to be able to slow them down and kind of stop them early, and we could probably run away with it. And yeah, if we get a big lead, like I said, hopefully Braden Hawthorne gets some tick in this one, and maybe we get to see these guys at the end of the bench get in and score some points there and get some good minutes. So,
Yeah.
like you said, they shoot threes. They'll kind of do whatever they can just to try to get on the board offensively, but the defense will be there, and they'll play a lot of dudes.
Yeah, and I think the main concern for UK is to cause turnovers against Georgetown. They had 14, like Georgetown had 14 turnovers against George Washington, but also to limit turnovers as well because Georgetown had 13 steals against George Washington. So the main thing is, of course, get rebounds, but also protect the ball and then, of course, force turnovers as well.
Yeah, definitely. You gotta win the turnover battle in games and matchups like this, where it's a team that wants to really focus on turning you over.
Yeah, and for Georgetown, just to talk a little bit more about them before we wrap up the podcast, they had just 30 points in the paint against George Washington, which is pretty good. They also had 13 second chance points and 15 fast break points. So limit those turnovers. They also had 11 points off the turnovers as well.
Yeah, definitely gotta limit those, and I think we'll be okay. But yeah, take care of the ball, do what we do, and I think we'll be rolling these fellas.
We better be rolling.
Oh yeah, we got to kill these boys.
Yeah. But let's wrap up the podcast and everything. Let's get into who we think will win, and then of course let's also go with the game MVP since we haven't done that previously in our earlier podcast.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, I'll go. I'd say UK will get this by a big win after what we did against Purdue. So I'll go with I'll go 82. 68 UK. I think they're going to win by double digits. I think they're just going to manhandle Georgetown, and it's not even going to be close. It's going to be like the Purdue game all over again.
Yeah, I think this will be a comfortable win. I'm gonna go 86-63. That's gonna be my final prediction.
Very lopsided. All right, let's also get into the MVPs. we saw Jasper Johnson. He was the MVP for sure for the first game, but I'm going to say Mo Diabate is going to be the MVP this game. Like he's just going to go crazy against the big men, against George Washington, and do all the little things correct, and maybe potentially get a double-double with 10 points, 10 rebounds.
I can see that. I can see that. I'm gonna actually. I guess this would be considered off the wall because he's not gonna start, but I think he's gonna get in his groove this game. I'm gonna go Cam Williams. I think he's gonna hit. I don't even know how many threes. I think he's gonna hit a lot more in this one. He's gonna be a big reason why we end up pulling away big time early in this one. So I got Cam Williams.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll both be correct that UK will blow out Georgetown because, like I said, George Washington kept it way too close against Georgetown. Should have never been that close if you're a Georgetown fan, but like I said, UK should be able to run away with this game and be able to win by double digits at least.
Oh yeah, definitely need to win by double digits. Definitely needs to be a feel good,
Mhm.
just kind of blowout from start to finish.
Sounds good. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I don't think so. I think I'm good.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, we'll have a podcast later this week to recap UK's terrible loss against Tennessee in football, and then, of course, preview their next matchup, which is, I believe, Auburn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We're
So,
we're 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 in the mix of the football season, so we
yeah.
got basketball coming back though.
Yeah, we got basketball with the welcome side, like no longer like a sore eye for everybody to continue to watch football and knowing the outcome every week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The games coming up are just extremely interesting for football. That's why it's just like it's weird, but
Yeah, but we'll talk more about that on a later podcast. But we appreciate you all watching on YouTube, but also listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But this is Chris Beesmore, and
Cameron Waddle.
we're signing out. Have a great week, everybody.
So yeah, go Cats.